Hello, this is the Officially Unofficial Geek channel. My name is Carrie Quinn, and this is my Authortube Newbie Tag video. So if you're new to the channel, hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Carrie Quinn, and to the pop culture and comic book community, I'm known as the Officially Unofficial Geek, at least a little bit. Here on the channel, I comment on pop culture, do book reviews, do comic book reviews, movie reviews, and like I said, pop culture commentary overall. One of the other things I am an author. I have 3 self-published poetry books currently, and I am currently about 10,000 to 11,000 words into what I think will be my debut novel as a novelist author. So I'm already an author as a poet. I also been working on some let's get into the newbie tag thing here. So these are questions that you're supposed to ask, and the reason why I'm filming on my phone today and not my normal setup is because I'm also like trying to keep a lookout on stuff on my computer because it is the middle of the day. We'll leave it at that. So let's see here. We've got these Authortube questions that I found them online. You can Google them, and yeah, so let's get into this. Okay, so the first question is, how did you find out about Authortube? Well, I found out about Authortube because kind of by accident. I was on YouTube and I wanted to learn about how different authors create and do their content, their books, that kind of thing. It was more of a I'm kind of curious and I want to do some research on this. So that's why I did this. That's how I found out about it. What genres do you write in? Well, I've mentioned that I write poetry. There's times where it is very self-reflective, or at times very political. Sometimes political. I also have been writing a dystopian urban fantasy comic book script. That's one I've been working on. I've also been working on a comic book script for a superhero comic, basically. Not anything that's out there. This would be a new creation on my part, with the potential for a whole universe if I can get that going. Then when it comes to my novel, I guess I have varying interests where I could potentially end up, writing different genres, but right now my genre for my novel is probably new adult contemporary type thing. It's a piece that ranges a lot of years of 2 people's lives, and so yeah, and the storyline pretty much starts with her being 16, and it goes all the way to probably about by the time it's all finished, she'll probably be about 25 to 30. So we'll see where we end up from there. So is there a little bit of sure. I'm kind of right now just kind of testing the waters on this. I feel like I've gotten to the point where it's over 10,000 words in. I can go ahead and start talking about it, but that's probably what I'm going to be doing here. But I think that's going to be something that we end up talking about later. The third question is, what is your preferred writing tense point of view and category of story? Okay, well, I kind of mentioned category of story. It's kind of a YA new adult kind of situation for the novel. My poetry is definitely adult. Not necessarily because there's a lot of stuff going on, but because it does deal with adult themes. And so yeah, there's swearing as well. So yeah, it's I would say new adult and adult, and my comics would probably be mostly adult. Yeah. Okay, the next question is, are you a plotter, a pantser, or a planter? Okay, so for those of you that are more on the have been here to my channel before, I should probably try to like define these as best as possible for your informational purposes. A plotter is somebody that will outline their entire story pretty much from beginning to end. They have a plan in place for the entire thing. A pantser is somebody who's like has an idea and they sit down and they write, and there's no outline. They just do it. An example of somebody that has said in the past that they're a pantser is Stephen King. Stephen King will just sit down. He'll get an idea in his head and just sit down and just write it. A lot of people out there are plotters, but there are plenty of pantsers out there. A planter is somebody that does a little bit of both. They have a rough, they might have a rough outline. They might have a rough idea and plan in place of what they want to do, whether it's on paper or in their head. And then they take that rough quality idea and they sit down and they write it. I would say that I am a planter. I do a little bit of both. I'm going to have the idea. I'm going to have a little bit of a plan, a direction, a beginning, middle, and end, where I want to go with this, have an idea of how I want to get there, and then I go ahead and I write. I feel like being a planter is one of those things where it's kind of like the best of both worlds, where you can do a little bit of plotting, where you have a direction, you have a purpose for why you're there and what you're doing. And a pantser is also one of those things where it's like, okay, so you can sit there and you can be like, you can let the story lead you. You can let the characters take on a quality that leads you. A little bit more laissez-faire than outlining every little bit of the story. And that's why planters, probably why I'm a planter mostly. Let's see here. That's just involving like novels and the comic script writing and what have you, because my poetry is mostly just, I'm inspired by something, I sit down and I write it. And there are times with my poetry where I actually sit down and be like, okay, I gotta write a poem. I haven't written in a while. I have to write a poem now, and this is what I'm going to be doing. And I go looking for inspiration. A lot of times the poetry happens on the fly, inspiration. There's sometimes like, I have a poem in one of my collections where I wrote it particularly because I was in a supermarket and I heard a guy say something. There's a woman, she was dancing in the aisles, and someday maybe I'll do a reading real quick on the channel of that poem, since I'm mentioning it here. I was in the supermarket. I was shopping because I do a lot of the grocery shopping for my household, and I came across this man and this woman. They were in this one aisle, and you know how some like supermarkets will like play music over the intercom, and they were playing music, and she started dancing in the aisle. And the one guy wasn't really paying all that much attention to her, but there was another guy in the aisle, and he's like, hey, take her dancing. And literally I sat there and I rushed through the rest of my it was an older gentleman, just like, but he was like one of those people that like you think was like a cool cat dude, like when he was younger, and you're just like, man, this guy's just like, take her dancing. And I literally rushed through the rest of my shopping got through the checkout line, got to the car, got everything in the car, sat there. I was by myself, and I pumped out this poem about what I saw and what I heard, and related to all of that, what was inspired by that. So yeah, my poetry is very much, sometimes there's stuff where I go looking for inspiration. There's sometimes where it just kind of happens. And so yeah, but that's how I write, basically. The next question, let's move on, is, are you self-published, published, or yet to be published? My poetry is self-published, 3 volumes. I'll include information if you want to check that out in the description here of the video. I really am one of those control freaks that wants to have the final say in everything that happens with my creative endeavors. And so I do a lot excuse me. I do a lot of it all myself, and then get feedback, however, I know that, a lot of times some people make this decision about whether they're going to be traditionally published or seek traditional publishing. And sometimes they don't make the decision right away. And I think maybe, would I be open to being traditionally published? We'll see. Maybe someday. There's certain elements and certain goals that I have that would be best handled and aided by another entity, helping and aiding and abetting in that. So we'll see with that one. But right now I am self-published, 3 volumes of poetry. Look at below to get more information. Number 6, what publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company are you represented by or use? If you're not yet published, what is your dream publishing house and or literary agent? Me. When it comes to my poetry, I've self-published, like I've mentioned. I dream everything up. I put everything together, for better or worse, whether it's good or bad. It's all me. I have attempted to, like, even the covers of the books are all me, put together by me. My first volume of poetry is a photograph that I took and edited. And that first volume of poetry is Tin Woman Elsewhere out of Henry. And it is literally, I took my nicest camera I've ever owned, and took it back to my hometown, and I knew exactly, kind of the range of shot that I wanted. I took a couple different possibilities of the different ideas that I had. I had like a few different ideas. I actually had 2 different specific ideas. One had to do with the welcome sign to going into the town on one end, and one had to do with the river. Because I come from a small town where one of the major monoliths of the town is the river. I'm from Henry, Illinois, which has its town motto, I believe, is still the best town by a dam site, meaning dam like as in river, dam. And so I took photos of different areas of the park near and the bridge from the river, and then I took also, like I said, the photo that ended up being on the cover, which was of the welcome to Henry sign. So I took that photo. I designed the other 2 covers. One, I used like some just rough, my second volume, political science. I took I did some rough guerrilla, Photoshop reworking of different stuff, and that's it. My third volume I did on Canva. So go to Canva. Go to Canva if you need help with that sort of stuff, because I use Canva in my videos, commenting on comics and pop culture and books and everything like that. I use Canva doing posts for Instagram. I use Canva for TikTok. I do all that. And I decided that I would do my cover using Canva, and I absolutely love it. It's my cover for Woke Bitch was done on Canva. Okay, let's move on. Overall, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but what is your dream publishing company? No, I don't have one yet. Right now, it's me. I do it. I'm when it comes to publishing my novels, I'm going to probably publish not under my name, but it'll be written by me. It will be credited to me, but I'm thinking about publishing under a company name. Right now, I think it's going to be called Lost Generation Productions, because that's the umbrella I kind of want to establish for all of my creative work that I work on personally or that I produce. When it comes to comic book, I would prefer to do creator-owned publishing, but if for some reason it were to get picked up and we take the guesswork out of getting out there, well, that would be probably under so-called indie publishing. That does not mean that I would not love a chance to write for certain established IPs in the future. I think every comic book reader that has even a little bit of writing prowess would love to write for their favorite character. Like, maybe I'm making an overgeneralization, but it's definitely there for me. There's definitely characters I would love to write under certain IPs, certain publishers, so that are ongoing or established characters, we'll say. DC Comics, I'm looking at you. If you partake in my comic book content, you'll find that I'm definitely very much a DC Comics girl. My favorite of the Trinity is definitely Batman, and my favorite character is definitely Harley Quinn. Just FYI. Let's see here. Number 7. What Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? Well, I'm thinking about kind of using it as a platform to promote what I'm writing by kind of just, giving little samples of stuff like my poetry, maybe doing short videos involving my poetry, short videos involving where I am in my process, maybe things here and there of what I've learned from doing what I've done so far, what I'm still learning, and maybe discoveries I make along the way. This is really just, I'm wanting to build upon what I've already been doing and kind of, get my foot into another part of the community of creatives out there. Just kind of hi, my name is Carrie and I'm a writer and I see you are too. And maybe you and I have something in common and we can build our own little faction of the community and do our thing and make friends. Friends are good. Friends are hard to make when you're an adult. And yeah, so maybe I'll make friends. Maybe I'll make friends with my community. I've done it in the comic book community, so why not here too? I also review books. Maybe there'll be friends that I can make in the BookTube community. Who knows? This is all possible. This is all something that could happen. But Authortube related videos, definitely. Talking about my process, talking about things I've learned, talking about maybe missteps, because obviously people make mistakes, and maybe talking about different things that I feel like that I find important in my writing, maybe some samples of my writing, all these things would be what I do. I'm open to doing. I'm going to tell you that I repeat, not going to give you tutorial videos on stuff where I feel like at any point I could be talking out of my ass. If I am not a woman that likes to, I am not a woman that likes to talk out of my ass. I am not a woman that likes to sit there and make a bet unless she knows she's going to win. I'm the sure. I don't make bets unless they're sure bets. Let's just say that. And I'm not gonna pull something out of my ass that is going to be like, here I am. I'm going to tell you about writing. I'm going to tell you about writing YA fantasy when I have absolutely no experience doing it. If maybe I start doing it, that might change. However, I've never written YA fantasy before, so I'm not going to tell you how to do your YA fantasy. That's for fucking sure. I swear a lot. I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to have to not swear as much. Good luck with that. Carrie now telling herself in the future, good luck with that. Let's see here, number 8. When did you start writing? When I was able to talk. I recall, and for some reason I have memories, maybe not that early, but memories of myself just kind of making up stuff on the fly and making up songs and singing to myself. And so to me, that counts as writing. So I've been writing since God knows when. I'm 42 years old. So I am 42 fucking years old. Yes, I am. Yeah, I hope y'all like my personality, because this is shining through right now. Woo! Shining through. Number 9. What was the first story you ever wrote? I just aforementioned told you I was 42 years old. I clearly do not remember much past the fact that I used to make up songs. And some of the songs used to be like make up stories. I used to have these, I would make up stories. First full story I ever wrote was probably, and this is pretty much how I discovered that, I might have something here, was probably part of an English class in junior high or high school, just to be real. Some of my favorite courses in junior high school were related to English literature and any writing, that was done because of that. Like, in particular, like I could spin stories about, in particular, being in my freshman English class, taught by a woman named Mrs. Marie Debates, where she talked about, she had us writing weekly, regular writing weekly in a journal, and a lot of it really took hold then when I was a freshman in high school because of her. That's the reason we're all here. God rest her soul. Mrs. Marie Debates. Love her. I loved her. One of my favorite teachers ever. I've got a couple. I've got a few. Respect, pay your teachers. Let's see here. Respect and pay your teachers. Let's see here. Number 10. What authors have inspired your writing the most? Oh God, I'm going to tell you right now, guys. since a lot of my writing has been poetry, let's go ahead and talk about how lyrical songwriters, number one. And number two, I have a degree in theater, something I've not mentioned yet on this video. I have a degree in theater, so there's a lot of influence from playwrights and theater, a lot of influence from lyrical songwriters, in particular, ones that I could just name off the top of my head. Tom Waits, big influence on poetry. Playwrights, I'm drawing a blank, but obviously every fucking theater person loves William Shakespeare, I think, and if they don't, they really don't. They either really love William Shakespeare or they really hate William Shakespeare. I love William Shakespeare. I'm one of those. But writing, I really love reading Jason Pargin, the Zoe Ash series, which there is a review of on my channel. Comic book writers right now, I'm going to tell you, Chip Zdarsky, Ram V, Sean Gordon Murphy, Stephanie Phillips had a wonderful Harley Quinn run. Jimmy Palamodi, Amanda Connor. That's just naming a few, and I feel like I'm like not naming enough. But Ram V right now, if you're into Batman at all, and opera and the structure of opera, is writing a wonderful Detective Comics run. So great, so wonderful, great storytelling, and his indie stuff, believe me, is really great. Awesome writer. One of my favorites right now. One of my favorites. Big fan. Sean Gordon Murphy has this whole separate universe of Batman, nicknamed the Murphyverse. Him and his wife, Katana Collins, who is also a romance novelist, writes a lot of stuff under that blanket. So, big fan of them. But let's see here. Let's move this along. Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to writing whenever you can find time to write? I have a day job and I try to schedule when I can. I have a goal to write at least the equivalent of 100 words per day all year. But I have broken that already because life gets in the way and sometimes you can't do it every day. And because I also do other content for this channel on top of doing this stuff, on top of my writing, on top of all this. So please support the channel. Make it so that I can at least get rid of this day job thing. Possibly, maybe someday. Support the channel, support my writing, please. If I make any kind of headway with you whatsoever, because if I'm able to ever ditch this day job, believe me, there'll be more writing for me. But right now I'm trying to just keep my head above water and not spiral, go completely insane. So I try to schedule, but it's really when I can get it in. You know, like it really, like there's been times where it's like I send my boyfriend into the store to go shopping for us so I can sit in the car and write on my phone. Yeah, like that's how I get my words in. Do you type on a computer typewriter, write everything out by hand, or use a blend of those? And where do you write in general? I write wherever I can, on computer and my phone, notebook. I write wherever I can. It's really one of those things where, like Charles Bukowski said, if it doesn't come out of you like a rocket, then it's not for you. Well, yeah, sometimes I literally have to be like, I'm bursting at the seams. I need to fucking write this. And then that's how my boyfriend ends up going into the store and shopping while I sit in the car and type on my phone. That's how that happens. I would like to tell you that I do not write on the toilet, but I do. If I'm going to be honest, if you are a writer, there's going to be a time someday in your life where you're going to have the urge. If it's coming out of you like a rocket ship, you're going to have the urge to write a line while you're sitting on the toilet taking a dump. Okay? I'm just being real with you. Because we all poop. We all fart, we all poop, we all piss. All right? And sometimes you're sitting there for a few minutes and you're like rolling through Instagram or whatever, and you're like, I have an idea. And you have to write it. You have to do it, or else it's gone. It goes poof out of your head the minute you flush that toilet. So don't censor yourself to the point where you are not willing to type some words out on your phone while you're taking a dump. Really. Because that could be some golden shit right there. Literally. That could be a golden shit you're taking right then and there, and you are not doing anything about it. See, if you remember me for anything else, remember that I talked about golden shitting in this Authortube video. Authortube Newbie, nice to meet ya. Okay, so the last question is this. What are you most looking forward to now that you're a part of Authortube? The community and somebody laughing at my jokes more than I do, hopefully. As an adult, and especially when you have day jobs and other things happening, day jobs, relationships, everything like that, it's hard to make friends. And I found that when I entered into like the pop culture and comic book community, that I did make friends doing that. Like, I have friends with people all over this great nation, this horrible nation, whatever you want to call it. This nation of ours. We'll go with that. And I made friends with people. And when I get to go on other people's shows and programs, or talk to people in their chats or on Instagram or whatever, and I get to talk about the things we love, that's like amazing. And I love books and I love writing, and I want to expand my circle, and hopefully that involves you. My name is Carrie Quinn, and I want you. I'm looking for inspiration. I'm looking for the next chapter of my life. Good, bad, ugly, and everywhere in between. So that's the end of the questions. And so I really hope out there in YouTube land that you're ready. And note that this is going to be right now. I'm putting my Authortube under the same umbrella as the Officially Unofficial Geek, because I geek out about writing, I geek out about books, I geek out about everything. In particular, comic books, movies, music, books, all that stuff. And I geek out about writing because I think that's those are some of the greatest things to geek out about. And in particular, I geek out about Doctor Who, I geek out about comic books, I geek out about movies, cartoons, and books, and I geek out about my writing. I absolutely, it is, a lot of people take a lot of time. And be a little bit silly, but also serious probably at the same time here. People take a lot of time, probably mostly serious. They take a lot of time in their adulthood after they go through college, or if they don't go to college, they do all that stuff in their early adulthood. They try to figure out, who am I? What do I want to do for the rest of my life? Who do I want to be? Who do I want to get up and look at in the mirror every day? And that's this. this is me. So I hope I've enticed you to come along for the journey. I hope you look at some of my other stuff. If you're here for the YouTube content, if you're here for the Authortube content, more like, if you're here for BookTube, if you're here for anything else, if you're here for my pop culture commentary stuff, I hope you stick around for everything else, because I want to take you all on this journey with me. And I hope you're here, and I hope you partake in the different types of content, and maybe you might find something you like. If you didn't know, if maybe you're here because of my book review, or you're here because of Authortube, for instance, and you're like, you know what, I've always been curious about Doctor Who. What's that deal? Or I've always been curious about comic books. What's that deal? Let me check it out. Let me see what Carrie has to say about it. Let me see what the OUG, the Officially Unofficial Geek, has to say about it, while I'm also looking at her other stuff, at the stuff I came here to see. Because this is what we call diversifying, y'all. Diversifying. But that's about it. I'm not gonna keep you any longer. It's been long enough of an Authortube Newbie Tag video, but thank you very much for joining me. My name is Carrie Quinn. I'm the Officially Unofficial Geek as well. Please check out all my previous videos. Please check out the description below if you're interested in picking up my poetry books, and I'll be seeing ya. So until next time, I say this at the end of all my videos. Until next time, please keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something, say something, and remember, the complacent never make a difference. So go make a difference in 2024. And until next time, I'll be seeing ya. Bye.